Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. JV Wins, Dogon SS. Constant Approach, we are here once again. Big
You
shouts out to everybody out there celebrating Halloween. If you are into that sort of thing, be safe, have fun, do your thing. I know in my neighborhood, you don't see too much trick or treat activities. So times have definitely changed. But if you out there doing your thing with this Halloween stuff, man, be safe, have fun, enjoy yourself because life is, of course, too short not to. Go ahead and do your boys a big old shout out and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video as we go ahead and get things kicked off. And we are going to get right into it with comments made by hip hop veteran Nikki D. Now, she was referencing Ice Spice specifically, but she was really talking about female rap as a whole. And needless to say, Nikki D is not pleased with the current trajectory of female rap. So we will go ahead and take a gander at what Miss Nikki D had to say here. This is in reference to a recent show that Ice Spice did, in which Ice Spice dressed as the cartoon character Betty Boop. So Ice Spice, in Ice Spice fashion, was dressed as Betty Boop during a recent live show, and on one of the Instagram posts of that show or of that performance, Nikki D had some things to say about Ice Spice and about female rap in general. So here we go. This says Nikki D blasts Ice Spice for Betty Boop performance, calls this the prostitution era of female rap.
goddamn.
I know, right? Ice Spice is an artist who has skyrocketed to fame very quickly. Overall, this can be difficult for any artist to manage. Of course, you have to work on building a core fan base that will rock with you no matter what. Music fans are fickle, and if you start to show weakness, the ones who aren't hardcore stans will immediately jump ship. However, Ice Spice has done a relatively good job of keeping her fans engaged. Moreover, her recent performance dressed as Betty Boop certainly had people talking. Unfortunately, not everyone saw the performance as a good thing. Nikki D, the first woman ever signed to Def Jam, decided to weigh in on what took place at the Prudential Center. Essentially, she said that this is the prostitution era in women's rap. These were extremely harsh words, although she did not stop there. She noted that Ice Spice raps over her studio vocals, which cannot be considered a real performance. Additionally, she claimed that Ice Spice will likely no longer be famous very soon. Here is a caption of Nikki D's comments. So here is that performance here, real quick. And as you can see, those are the feet. So, nothing out of the ordinary. That's kind of Ice Spice performance, I would say. Um, I'm not
Uh,
exactly sure why she is constantly pulling dress down when that's the size and the dress that she decided to wear. What are you pulling it down for? But
yeah, look at all that talent. There's a lot of talent going on up stage. Oh wow, yeah, there you go. That's what we all came to see. That's what the crowd didn't give a damn.
right,
She turned around and started showing her ass.
right, and then you'll continue to read on Nikki D's criticism specifically was, "Oh, come to f on! You mean to tell me this is true talent? The female genre of hip hop today is the prostitution era. Fight me." Nikki D wrote, notice the only two X's the crowd reacts. Notice the only two times the crowd reacts during the familiar munch line and when she turns around to show her ass. She's one of the top female rappers out at the moment. Where's her show production, rehearsal? And for God's sake, please stop singing over those studio vocals. It's not a live show at that point. Older artists have frequently hated on the younger generation. So here we go with this age thing, because that's pretty much what it always boils down to. Sometimes it is genuine hate, while in other instances, it is just tough love. So that's pretty much the gist in a nutshell. Sparked an interesting dialogue going back and forth between the merit of what Nikki D had to say, how valid it was. Do you concur with Nikki D that this is the prostitution era of female rap, and that furthermore, and that furthermore, um, she's not even a true artist because she raps over her vocals and all of that good stuff?
Bro, 1000%. Okay, first of all, I saved this reaction for the video. You know, I saw the headline. I knew what she was talking about, but I saved my reaction for this. So when I saw this, and when I genuinely said, "Look at all that talent! Look at what she's doing," and then the crowd goes crazy, and I go, "Look at that! They weren't even saying that." That was my genuine reaction. So then once you read the little part afterwards, I'm like, "Okay, shit." She literally, we thought the same thing when we saw that. That was embarrassing. Like, who is she? What is that? As far as, performing, she's literally just standing there. But when we had talked about the Adolf girl, I had brought up, industry plants and all of that jazz. And this girl here, talentless, obviously. And so who gave us Ice Spice? That's the real question here. So I think for more people, instead of getting upset at Ice Spice because she's just a drone, following commands of labels. So we need to start asking ourselves, when they give us another 6ix9ine, they give us another Ice Spice, another Sexy Red, another Sukihana, all this prostitute rap that she's talking about. When they give us the next one, because they give it to you, they make sure it's on every video on TikTok. They make sure that it's all on Shade Room and Baller Alert. Who's paying for this? So you just have to ask yourself. And so my whole thing is that display on stage just encapsulates what modern air quote artists are doing. It's absolutely nothing but showing ass. And her crowd don't even know. I'm pretty sure. Is there more Ice Spice songs? I don't even know what she does outside of being a minstrel show, as you always mention. So, yeah, man, I agree with Nikki D 1000%, bro. Now, on the other hand, how do you feel about this, bro? Do you feel like she went a little overboard by calling this prostitution rap?
Well, I mean, you and I call it vagina rap. So what's the difference, right? Like I definitely call it vagina rap. And what annoys me the most about this conversation is the people who want to come at Nikki D on that age stuff. See, here we go with this ageism conversation with this music again. You only see this with this rap stuff, where if you have a dissenting opinion, it must be because you're old. Like, no, maybe her point is valid. And see, here's the thing about this stuff. We sit on our soapboxes and we talk about how the music has gotten to the point where it is currently, right? Compared to previous times in history or previous generations. And you'll have people who say it was always like that. Like, for example, the male equivalent of this, which is the guns and the drugs and the jail and the violence, right? You'll have people who will say it was always like that. They was talking about that ignorant stuff before. So why are you getting so mad at it now? You just old and you aged out of it. So stop complaining, because it's always been like that. And my response to those individuals is, it's not that it wasn't present before. It's that the music did a more proactive job of diversifying what you had available to listen to from an industry standpoint. So it didn't seem as though the content of the music was utterly homogenized. The difference between those previous eras and now is the content is homogenized. When it comes to female rap, it isn't that there weren't vagina rappers in previous eras, because there were. Lil' Kim was a vagina rapper of her day. Foxy Brown, to a certain extent, was a vagina rapper of her day. The difference is you had other female rappers who were being catapulted to the forefront to offset it. So it didn't make it seem as though all of female rap was homogenized. Nowadays, all of female rap sounds the same, which is selling box, being about box, showing off box, showing off ass, and basically just making yourself available to the highest bidder. So the content of the music is completely homogenized. So it isn't about this generational gap in which people from previous eras can't get it or understand it. And if we don't like it, it therefore must mean that we are stuck in a previous era. It's the point about the music that is being catapulted to the forefront nowadays being homogenized to the point where it seems as though, unless you are a hardcore fan, you are not being given enough alternatives to make it seem as though the music is diverse. So Nikki D is right, and she's right because the music is homogenized. Nowadays, if it's a female rapper, she's rapping about box or what you need to do to get box. Like, am I wrong? Like
No.
when I when I listen to when I'm in my car, I got satellite radio. I don't do terrestrial radio. So I listen to Shade 45, Hip Hop Nation, and anytime I listen to some of the shows that come on either of those stations, Who Kid, I often mention Who Kid show on Saturdays because that's the one time out of the week where I look forward to listening to radio because that is one of the few shows that I can listen to
Mm.
during my car rides, and I might hear a song or two that's new music that I like because it's like a DJ show, and so they play a lot of stuff. But 90% of the time, I'm hearing what the labels want to be played. The music that has the most amount of money being pumped behind it. That's the music that gets played the majority of the time. That's what gets
Yep.
pushed to the forefront.
Yep.
And what's getting pushed mostly to the forefront is if it's the male rappers, it's the ignorant drug and gun bars. And if it's the female rappers, it's box rap. It's box rap. Ice Spice is box rap. She hasn't shown an inclination to being diverse in any kind of way. She's rapping about box. Now she'll now she'll now she'll tell you she's doing it because that's what the people want, which is the Jedi mind trick that the industry will try to fool you into believing that is what the people want. No, y'all are putting the most money behind this because you're trying to make people behave and adhere to a certain kind of behavior. For reasons that we can get into beyond this topic if we wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, that's the majority of what's going on out here. So
Mhm.
for me, Nikki D is correct specifically from the standpoint that the content of the music, whether it's female, male, whatever, is largely homogenized, and the delineation between said homogenization is rooted in sex and gender. So the male rap that gets pushed out there is of a certain type, and the female rap that gets pushed out there is of a certain type. I don't think Nikki D is wrong. Her age notwithstanding, she has a valid point. And instead of fighting her on this, perhaps you need to ask yourself why.
Yeah. Yeah. And to go to your point dealing with like this been happening stuff, because I be hearing that,
Yeah.
that, oh no, man, they been had, gun bars, but you gotta think again, who's providing this stuff to you, telling you want this. So let's ask those questions, because yes, before there was gun bars and selling drugs, there was pimps and hustlers and all of that stuff. We didn't ask for that. Who was giving us that? We didn't run any television programs. We didn't run any studios. We didn't have any, to create movies and budgets, and we didn't do that. Oh, well, then of course there were black guys who directed and made their own exploitation videos, but they call it black exploitation for a reason. They were exploited, and then they were showing all kinds of bottom dweller life and glorifying it. Then you fast forward to more modern times. BET, instead of having shows about college education, how to better yourself, they had TV shows glorifying gangsters. This guy sold this much dope. He had so much dope he could put it in a microwave. And then it was like, I I just I just put it in the micro. I had so much drugs. I couldn't afford to I just put it in the microwave. And it was like, oh yeah, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You did this many years in jail. They glorify these people. Who's telling us to do this? So then you have the masses who just turn on the television and consume, not knowing that there are people invested in making sure you're staying off course. And so while those programs are airing, people are just watching it, thinking that they're learning history about their community, which is true. It is a form of history. Congratulations. But they're not also showing the other side of the coin of the more positive sides of our history. So you got to ask yourself, this stuff is systemic, if you ask me. And it's not just in our community. I mean, they make sure they're dumbing down everybody, trust me. But in our community, when it comes to guns, violence, prostitution, salacious sex, they make sure they serve that stuff to us on a silver platter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I was a young man trying to be the best version of myself that I could be. But then they introduced something called BET Uncut. Well, it was damn near softcore porn. Sorry, Mom, if you're hearing this. Yeah, I woke up. I used to wake myself up. No alarm clock. I'm like, yo, pow. It was amazing. Sometimes I'll wake up like at 3:45 and I damn near missed the whole show. But they put the crazy stuff at the end anyway. So I'm doing all this here, losing my mind. And of course, fast forward, I want to grow up not doing exactly what those guys did in the video, but exploiting women was damn sure on the itinerary. Not respecting women, that wasn't there, even though I respect the people in my close quarters. But what I mean is, in my mind, I wanted hoes. Now, who told me to live like this? I was growing up hearing it from the rap that programmed my generation. And so now, as we mentioned, the whole prostitute rap is doing this to the current generation of women. So look out, fellas, right? Because the ones that are already in the pool are already consuming this jive. But the young men of the future, your so-called wives, I don't know what kind of world you guys are going to live in. I hope you guys the best. Godspeed. So, hey, man. But I'm 1000% behind Nikki D. A veteran had to say it. I'm glad she stepped up and said something. I know they're not going to take heed, but I know that there's women out there that are tired of this too. So I'm glad that she's speaking up and resonating with the sisters out there that also know that this is garbage. So
yeah, correct. She is correct. This is the prostitution era of rap, for female rap. But if we are going to make sure that we're honest with this conversation, this is also the prostitution era of society in general.
boy, it's wild.
So art oftentimes is a microcosm of what's going on with the rest of humanity. And what's going on with the rest of humanity, and we'll get into this a little bit later, is the accepted socialization of sex work and prostitution and things of that nature. So the music is merely a reflection of that. So I'm totally not surprised. It's of course going to get more. We're going to see more and more of this because these artists who are coming through the pipeline, who, as you said, and I would agree, are largely talentless, are nevertheless being groomed to be the prostitution monikers of their day. It is what it is, man. You can get mad at us if you want. And see, the thing about it is, no one, the crowd that's behind the Ice Spices of the world will want to redirect the conversation to try and make it about age. And that's what annoys me the most. See, I'm not even annoyed more by Ice Spice and the existence of such content. I'm annoyed by the commentary around the conversation more than the actual thing, because I've already accepted that this stuff is going on. But what I find most annoying is the retort to what I have to say has nothing to do with critiquing the substance of my message, but rather has everything to do with the fact that I must not get it because I'm older. And so what's happening with Nikki D is, you just don't get it because you're older. No, maybe she does get it because she's seen more and she's been around longer. So she's seen the transition take place and she has enough of a perspective to understand that juxtaposition between previous times and what's going on now. And a lot of people don't get that. And it's disappointing that a lot of the vanguards of previous eras will not speak up on that front. They will instead chastise her comments as someone who is merely not getting it because she comes from a previous era. And that to me is probably the most unfortunate part of this, in my opinion. Um, but and you know what's funny? This is the last thing I'll say. You know what's hilarious about Ice Spice?
Mm.
She has actually publicly stated, and I laughed out loud when I read this because I thought she was joking. So I'm waiting for the punchline, but there's no punchline, and I realized, oh my gosh, she's serious. She actually said, I dumbed down my lyrics. She said that. Like she's actually said, I dumb things down. Now, to be fair, she said, I don't consider myself to be a lyricist. Okay, fine. Not that you had to make that clear because no, no one's going to confuse that anyway. So you didn't even have to make that clear. But she did anyway, so I'll give her minor credit for that. But she also really said with a straight face that she dumbs her music down. And I'm thinking to myself, for who and for what do you dumb that nonsense down? But hey, man, as you like to say, this is where we are. It is what it is. I most definitely do agree that this is the prostitution era of female rap. I think that they have taken several steps back, and they're doing regular women a disservice. But what it is, we already knew these things, so it's cool to just be able to talk about it anyway when someone with some credibility speaks out on it.
No, 1,000, bro. 1,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. Shouts out to Nikki D and Ice Spice for that matter.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? With your baby boot ass hanging out that dress.
Unbelievable.
She gonna show that ass though.
She gonna do that.
Yeah.
She know the assignment.
Right.
So, at least I don't fault her for she's not trying to fool nobody. She just up there getting paid. It's just like, okay, I'll just turn around now.
Yeah.
So if nobody really came here to see her face.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is hilarious times, man. Honestly, man, if you're not laughing at this stuff at this point, man, come on, don't let them get under your skin, bro. You gotta start laughing it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you do gotta laugh at it. You do. You gotta laugh to keep from crying, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.